Welcome to the Northside Drive channel, and for today's video we are going to restore this 20-year-old Barstool racer. It's been hanging out in sheds and barns for the last 15 years. It's been at least that long since the engine's run, and today we're going to restore this thing, see if we can get it fired back up, and let's get out and ride this because it has been sitting up for way too long. This is going to be a fun one. So a little backstory on the Barstool Racer. So this has been around for 20 years. It is mine. I've owned it for 20 years. However, I can't take full credit in this creation or this design or most of the fabrication for that matter. In fact, this was built by a good friend of ours, of mine, and a neighbor over 20 years ago, Kevin. And Kevin, if you see this, I hope you do. Thank you. This thing is still great to this day. And sorry it's let it go so far, but we're going to bring it back to life. So Kevin had created one or two of these himself first, and I saw him ripping around the neighborhood, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and I begged Kevin, you got to help me build one. And if you thought my welding was terrible now, you should have seen it 20 years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. So Kevin did a lot of the welding. I mean, he got the steel, he showed me how to assemble the steering, what parts to buy. Gave me a shopping list. I did that. I sourced the motor. I did all the assembly part of it, all the painting and decorations and the seat cover and all that sort of stuff. That's where I was able to help with that. But the welding and the actual fabrication part is all Kevin. So credit goes to him for that, and it's held up structurally quite well to this day. So he did a great job. It's never caused an issue there. But what essentially happened was, I mean, I used to tow my son around in a trailer behind this thing 20 odd years ago. He's 22 now. And when he was 1 or 2, we used to tow him around for fun around the neighborhood on a trailer towed behind it. So that's how long it's been around. And it got really good use for a number of years. And then, you know, life happens. Kevin moved on. He purchased a new home, left the neighborhood. I had left before, a few years before that. Moved out to Western Canada for a number of years. And during that time, I had another friend of mine, Jeremy, who's, if you've seen this channel, you've seen him on here before, and asked him to hold on to this for me because I wasn't going to bring it all the way out West Coast with me. A couple things I did notice he did change, and that was right when he first got it, was he removed the T-bar that was on here. I had a T-bar steering initially, and he went ahead and put on the steering wheel, which I think looks pretty sweet. So we're going to keep the steering wheel. And then the tires were the same in the fronts as they were on the back. Needless to say, he ran it for maybe a couple of years after I passed it off, but then it got sat in his garage. You know, again, things happen, and I moved back, and he brought it over to this shape, more or less. I stored it in my shed and in there in garages, and it's just sat over the years. It's sad to see, but you know what? Today's the day to restore this thing and give it back the life it deserves. It's going to be a fun project today, and we've got a few things, and I'm going to show you some of the changes that we'll make, but we got a lot of work ahead of ourselves to get this thing back up and running, so let's get after it. All right, so it's in sorry state. You can see there's just debris and dirt everywhere. It is a 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, super reliable. We're definitely going to have to change the oil. I checked already too, and it's not seized. There's still good compression. I feel like there's some good compression. I'm still getting recoil on the pull start. Air filter has seen better days. I mean, it's not too bad. I think we can just clean that up. Exhaust is still holding up. You can see here what Kevin did too is, so normal exhaust is only this long a little bit. He actually cut here and welded this extension pipe in the middle to make it out a little bit farther and not running underneath your butt when you're riding. So that's really great. Spark plug, I have no idea. Pretty corroded in spots. A good thing is it's not been left outside. There, you know, surface rust. The clutch, now the clutch, I'm told should be good still. It doesn't get a lot of miles, doesn't get a lot of use over the years. Again, it's been sitting for 15 of the 20. So the clutch, I'm told, should be fine. The chain still looks pretty healthy. I think we're gonna be good there. We'll oil it up. I don't know, we can do a little light sanding. Seat cover, now this was originally a black suede that my wife stretched over and stitched for me on here. We're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna show you what the new idea cover is. And yeah, steering wise, everything seems okay. I don't see anything. I'll check all the nuts and bolts. It's filthy, so we're gonna disassemble it and pressure wash it. So pull the motor, we're gonna pressure wash it, and then we're gonna start obviously making sure this motor runs, because this whole thing is pointless if that doesn't run. But while I have it here, I'm gonna give you guys a little Easter egg secret. This is SSC, and that stands for Southside Creations. So long ago, Kevin actually came up with this name, and it was something he put on brand on all his little machines that he made. He made some mini bikes and pocket choppers, whatever you want to call them. Anyways, it's the inspiration for the YouTube channel. So Southside Creations, when I was thinking of the YouTube channel, like, what do I name my channel? I don't know. And I wanted something that reflected Canadian automotive culture, because that's kind of what we focus on here on the channel. And Northside Drives. It was kind of a spin-off to Southside Creations. I thought that was such a great name. And the South Side comes from the fact that we lived in the southern part of the city that we lived in when we were neighbors. So anyways, a little tidbit of interesting information and what the SSC means, and I'm gonna make sure that stays on there. We won't be removing that today. All right, first things first, let's, maybe we vacuum it out first. Yeah, let's get the shop vac on this. Okay, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. Hey, something that I forgot to mention, if you haven't noticed already, and you will if you haven't yet, it ain't got no brakes. So, yeah, that makes for a sketchy fun ride. Because this thing, when this motor was strong and healthy, and I'm hoping it runs good, it rips pretty good. There's not a lot of weight here to this. So I'm a little heavier, but it's not too heavy. But yeah, no brakes. I will say Kevin did come up with the design. I believe he had brakes on one of his models. I never bothered. I just put my feet on the wheels to slow down with a old pair of shoes. So just thought I'd share that bit of fun with you. Okay, motor is held on by a couple of bolts on the bottom, as you can see. So next step, we're gonna see, and hopefully these aren't seized up, but we're gonna try to get those pulled out and get this motor off. Okay, motor should slide back. Yep. Chain can come off. Now we gotta lift it off of there. Oh boy. All right, throttle linkage, cable, whatever, is disconnected. Let's pull this motor and get it on the workbench. All right, there's, I don't know if you can hear that. There's fuel in there. That fuel's gonna be garbage, so we're gonna dump that. All right, well, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is drain the fuel, drain the oil. We'll put new oil in it, check the spark plug, and then before I try to start it, I think I can probably just bolt it down right to this workbench, keep it from moving around, and I'll be able to fire this thing up, try cranking it right from here. Ooh, smells like varnish. Yeesh. This is gonna be tough to get this thing fired up. All right, let's get the fuel and the oil out. Okay, well, the good news is I drained the oil and I don't see any metal, any debris of any sort. It looks really clean. I mean, it's old and it's black, but it's clean. Spark plug, I don't know how well you can see that, but other than dirty, I think it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna use it. I don't have an option right now. I don't have another one, so we'll file it off, clean the gap, and that might work. Doing well. I wiped it down a little bit. I know, it should be painted. I should be painting it if I want to do this right. But I was gonna have to wait another day. So for now, cleaned it up some. Everything looks good. Oil's drained, fuel's out of it. And we're gonna move on to pressure washing the chassis and getting everything else cleaned that way. And then bring it back in the garage and we're gonna take those tires off. Looking better already. Let's let that dry and let's see. And let's try to get back to the motor and see if we can get that thing fired up. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. You got spark. Okay, that's a good sign. Okay, it fired off. So now he's got to get it to get fuel. I'm hoping the fuel filter, if there is one, isn't clogged or down in the tank. But that just popped off with brake fluid. Or sorry, brake cleaner. Okay, so update. As you can see, the fuel tank has been removed, and that is because this little pickup tube was completely clogged with this tiny little filter, which no longer works. I tried blowing through the tube once I pulled this off, and it was not going anywhere. So I think that might have been my problem. Also, this was broken off right here. It was about ready to come off. So I actually was able to get it off, get this tiny little crimp collar off, heat the tube up, slip it back past the point, and then recrimp it. So it's on there good now. Hopefully that's going to be fine. The tank has been cleaned. So I re-drained it, cleaned it all out. I mean, you can't see anything, but it's looking a lot better in there. And I think we're in a spot where we can put some fuel back into it now. All right, after much messing about, the tank is back on. The carb's been cleaned, at least the pickup tube's been cleaned. It's all bolted back in place. We're gonna try and see if this thing will pump fuel now. Okay. I mean, the gasket under the carb is shot. Not surprising I removed it, and I'm getting fuel everywhere. So, but it ran longer than I thought it would. So I wonder if it is actually getting fuel or not. Should I turn it over again? See what happens? Oh, it's sucking. I mean, damn. Okay, that's hot. Yeah, potential fuel fire. Okay, so, wow. I think we got it. I got fuel leaks everywhere, so that's fun. So it's looking to me, gasket, because I pulled the tank off, is shot. I need to put a new gasket under there. And this cap is leaking, but it's venting right. So, okay. All right, well, she runs. Awesome. Perfect. I got to do the rest. Let's get to the rest. I got to take a moment and give a shout out to Breeze and Stratton. This thing's been sitting for 20 years, and you just heard it fire up. And you know what? That's part of the reason why. Right here from Canada. Love it. We are going to pull the rear spoiler off. Pull this rubber trim off. Hopefully that comes off and goes back on. The front little wind deflector. I'm going to try to get this off as well. The front plate. So we can get it down the chassis. And then I'll take this off as well. Cleaned off, air dried it off. It's pretty well there. We're gonna hit it with a light primer first, a black primer. I'm not too worried about the underside. I noticed I didn't paint that 20 years ago, the underside. Maybe I'll flip it and give it a little bit, but hit it with some black primer first, cover up some of this old crap. I'm not gonna go to town and sand this all down to bare metal. This is just, you know, kind of a light restoration, shall we say. Cosmetically improved. But the main goal is to get it running again. So anyways, let's go ahead and let's start the painting. Painting is pretty well done. I think this will do. The motor is ready, more or less. I don't know what could go wrong. Fire maybe, but anyways, we're gonna give it a try. So first step, mount the tires back on. I've inflated them. They are holding air, so that's awesome. And now we're just gonna try to start putting things back together. And let's see if we can ride this thing today. So I almost forgot about these parts, the diamond plating. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning those off before we get too far into assembly. Just a little overspray. So let's tackle that. And when we come back, I'll have these cleaned up and this should be dry and we'll start putting tires and parts back together. All right, well, the diamond plate's been cleaned, but this is not quite dry enough for my liking. So why don't we go ahead and let's move on to the seat. I'm gonna clean this off. I'm not gonna get the rust off. Again, this is a light restoration, right? So we'll at least change this dirty old thing, which is surprisingly held up really well. But we're gonna take that off. We're gonna put the new cover on. That'll refreshen it up a bit. I'll lightly sand this chrome down a bit. I don't expect it to do much, but we'll do the best we can. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I like that. That's gonna look good. Can't wait to see it all when they're finished. Hey, so did you know the square Robertson head is a Canadian invention? And I think it was framers or roofers or somebody in Canada designed it, but it stays on. And that's why it's the better screw. Look at that. Look at that. That's gonna look so good on there. Yes. Flannel for the win. All right, I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put the wheels back on. That's going to raise it up a little bit and help me get the motor mounts underneath a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and get the tires back on first. You'll notice what we did is we put these as notches, and that allows us to move the motor forward back just a little bit to get the chain the right tension. So anyways, thought I'd share that with you. I think it's gonna work. And now I'm terrified because I have to ride it again. All right, throttle line, and I'll open a prayer. And we should be off to the races. Well, there we have it. I mean, it looks pretty good. It's, you know, a one-day restoration, new paint job, cleaned it up, got it running. I think the only thing left to do is we need to give it a try. Okay, let's suit up and let's see if she fires back up, and let's take her for a rip. So definitely not getting full power, that's for sure. So there's some more work to be done, but I rode it, which is pretty freaking awesome. I mean, so there's work to be done, but you know what? What a great start. I'm gonna go for another rip. Let's go check it out. Okay, stop, no brakes. Well, it wasn't a perfect run.
I bailed hard. I don't know if you can see that on this camera, but I found my GoPro that flew off the handlebar, and I'm sure it's got it on there. So this should be a fun view. Couple things. One, it took us a while to get up to full power, up to speed, and the clutch to engage. So maybe the clutch is worn out. That could be a possibility. So it's really slipping a lot. Got to fix the fuel leak. It's not as bad as I thought, but we got to fix that. Could be getting some air in the line, which is contributing to the power loss. And then as well, why I bailed is it did a hard right all of a sudden. I was cooking down that hill, and this wheel right here, I'll put this down, completely locked up. Like, it is seized in place. Now, I doubt the bearings failed. I think what's happened is this nut tightened itself while I was driving. I've got to look at that and make sure that that doesn't happen again. And it tossed me. So to the right. So that makes sense why that happened. Otherwise, I haven't ridden this thing in 15 years, almost 20 years now. And it's so nice to see it out again in the sun. And you know what? A little more TLC and this thing will be back in top shape. So I appreciate if you sticking around and watching my shenanigans here today. And we'll catch you next time.